Well, this is the Music Storm podcast where we discuss music from so many angles, from artists, producers to listeners, but with the main interest with the music industry as a whole. Today we got Rui. How you doing, Rui?
I'm doing great, thank you. Doing
Dude,
great. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Like, listeners probably don't know you, of course. Start off, like, where are you from and what do you do, Rui?
So, hello. I'm
Hi.
I'm Rui. I'm from Portugal, and I'm a graphic designer. I mostly work in the music industry,
Mm-hmm.
and I design mostly album artwork and merchandising.
Nice, nice. Like, when did you start getting into, like, graphic design and everything?
Okay, um, that's a good question
Mm-hmm.
because I never have the desire to be a graphic designer.
Yeah.
I knew I always wanted to be part of the music world because I've been deeply passionate about music since I was maybe 15, 12. I'm 28 now. Um, so when I started liking music, I always wanted to be part of it. But to be honest, I never took strides in it. I
Yeah.
wanted to be a computer. I wanted to be a computer engineer because here in Portugal it's kind of hard for to have a music career. Uh,
Okay.
uh, I mostly listen to metal, so
Okay.
it was kind of tricky. So when I got into college, I took a multimedia degree, and in that degree, it taught me a lot about of different things. For example, 3D programming, photography, and the point of the degree was for us to choose a subject so that we can take a master's. I never
Okay.
took a master's, but when I graduated, I started working in a company doing graphic design. I did flyers and Facebook posts and such.
Mm.
When and that was a point when I kind of started liking designing. I started doing wallpapers for bands I loved, just for fun,
Yeah.
and my friends really liked them. One day I found out I could transcribe those same wallpapers into clothing, and my friends again really liked it. So I thought, hey, let's keep trying. And I did, and I keep try, and up until 2018 October. Thankfully, my favorite band called Silent Planet.
Okay.
So yeah, saw one of my designs and bought it. Bought it. I that lit a flame in me. I kept working, and in 2019, um, I got my big break, so to say. so to say,
Yeah.
a band called Casey.
Mm.
Called it quits. In 2019, they split,
Mm-hmm.
and they hired me, a
Mm.
complete novice, hired
Nice.
me to do all their merch for their final tour. And from that point on, I got more and more and more clients, and I quit my job at the time, and now that's my job, thankfully.
That's that's great. Like, who's your favorite bands that you've been like designing with, I guess?
So my favorite band as I said, for a long time has been Silent Planet. Silent Planet, and thankfully, I'm their main designer for
Okay.
clothing, for clothing,
Yeah.
for clothing. They have other designers who I think are better than me that also designed for them, but thankfully I do most of it now.
Okay.
I see you wearing a Bad Omens t-shirt,
Yeah,
and
I had to do it for the occasion, Rui. You
yeah.
know?
It's funny. It's funny you wear it because I was talking to Noah, the vocalist, 5 minutes ago.
Oh, really? That's kind of funny.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
funny.
I'm doing more of their merch now.
Okay.
Uh, okay, so Silent Planet, Bad Omens, Kingdom of Giants, Black Bear, which that's not metal, but
Yeah.
I really like him. Um, Loath, I did some of their merch. I always forget Varials issues. Tons of bands,
You
thankfully,
just have
thankfully.
a back catalog of all these
Yeah,
bands and you just don't know
it's
anymore.
crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy, but yes.
I love it. I love it. Do you think you'll go off of like not the metal scene or the rock scene? Will you go on like country or even pop at some point? Even?
Yes, I hope so. I hope so, just because even though I mostly like metal, I also like pop. Not so much country, but for example, I really love pop.
Yeah.
For example, let me give you Ariana Grande. I love the 975. Yeah. So I love to branch out because I think their style is really outside of the box,
Hmm.
and everything they do is kind of different. So I wanted to take my step in it, even though I've made merch for some big pop artists, for example, as I said, Black Bear,
Yeah.
Internet Money, nothing. Trevor
Trevor
Daniel.
Daniel. Okay.
Yes, I only did one. It was a collab with Selena Gomez, and
Okay.
I did yeah for them,
That's cool.
which was pretty cool, pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that is really cool. So like, I know you're a graphic designer, but like, for like, why haven't you started like a band, or have you not thought about making music at all, or no?
Yes, when I was 18, I got a drum set, so I play drums. By playing drums, I mean really badly. Yeah, I'm real. Yeah, because it was a funny thing. One of my best friends called Gustavo.
Mm-hmm.
He, I've been a friend. I've been his friend since second grade. We've been friends since for. And at a point said, "Hey, Rui, let's start a band." But we were young kids, and none of us. Only he played an instrument. Played an instrument. He said, "Hey,
Oh,
you wanna play drums? I'll find you a teacher."
a teacher.
And yeah, he found me a drumming teacher, and I started taking lessons. I started really liking drums, and I got my drum set. I now the drum set is at my parents' house because I
Mm.
moved in with my girlfriend. So,
Okay.
we have a small apartment, so there's no drum set here.
Uh,
And to be honest, I got kind of me and my teacher. I stopped taking lessons because I got into college and I didn't have much time. And I'm one of those, in terms of music, I'm one of those. Um, how can I say it? I didn't know what to do without a teacher. So
okay.
yeah, so I know that a lot of drummers learn online and such, but I couldn't do it. And to be honest, I kind of left it. I play drum, but I'm not really good. I kind
Mm-hmm.
of stopped. So yeah, but always loved music, and
Mm.
thankfully I I'm now part of the music world in a way. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Exactly. Like, I love
Yeah,
that you're a graphic designer and you're in the music industry. I love that. Maybe you
thank
could
you.
get into like the drumming, maybe in like the future
Yes, yeah.
again.
I thought of getting electronic kit to
Right.
starting again, because I know, because I'm part of the music world. I've become friends with tons of bands
Yeah.
and tons of drummers that I look up to. For example, one of my great friends now is Austin from the band Lorna Shore. I don't know if you know.
Okay. I've heard
Yeah,
the
Lorna
name.
Shore.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are deathcore. They are super heavy,
Hmm.
and the drumming is really complex and complicated. But I've become great friends with him, and I'm sure I could learn ton from him. So I thought about in the future, when I have some more free time, I'll buy a electronic kit and start uh, training again.
That would be cool. I want to see a Rui drum cover of like a
thank
band
you,
or something. Yeah, even
thank
Silent
you, thank you.
Panic. That'll be a good cover for
Oh
you.
yeah, those drums are really complicated, really
Yeah.
complicated. But I can give it a shot if I learn. I gotta, because I'm really bad. But if I learn, like maybe.
Maybe. You'll be fine.
Yep.
But
Yep.
what got you like really in like music graphic design though?
Mhm. In music or in graphic design
In general. So like I guess
in general.
in general so that, and then I guess go into music graphic
Okay, no,
design.
it's simple. It's simple. Um, I think I started liking music a bit late. My friends already liked a lot, and I never liked music. And it never, it's not that I didn't like I didn't care for music. For
Okay.
me, it meant nothing. I listened to it on the radio, and one day my uncle gave me an Apple Shuffle, those little ones.
Oh yeah, those little ones,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. And I didn't care for it. I lent it to my father, and he used it. One day, my friend sent me 3 songs that I'll never forget. Sent me 3 songs, and those were the songs that started my passion for music. It was Linkin Park in the End.
Oh, great
It
song.
was I Write Scenes Not Tragedies by Panic! At the Disco,
Okay.
and it was I think it was Remember the Name by Fort Minor. That
Okay.
is that side project of Mike from Linkin Park,
Yeah.
and that's when I started like music. The thing about me is that I don't this may sound kind of uh, douchey, but I don't love music. I'm deeply obsessed with it. Like
That's good.
I knew every band member. My school books were all lyrics, all photos of bands I loved. Good Charlotte, for example. For Good Charlotte was my first favorite band was Good Charlotte.
That's
I
cool.
knew everything. I wore clothes like them. I wanted to be like them. That was what caught my fire. Excuse me, with graphic design. It was, as I said, something that came later, but when I started creating, like it was crazy because all the bands I looked up to that I always saw on the internet, because let me say that in Portugal,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of metal, before the virus, of course,
Yeah, before the virus.
before the virus, we used to get at best 5 metal shows a year, at best
Oh wow.
a year. So for us, or for all of us fans, having a band, like being part of the music or having a band here in Portugal, was like a holiday
Huge.
for us.
Yeah.
It's a holiday. Like I live in the upper part of Portugal, no, not the upper, the northern part of Portugal, in Porto. It's not the capital. Capital is Lisbon. That's in the middle. So most concerts go to Lisbon, and we would go on trips, just see the bands. Like it was something. It was almost a holiday for us. And for me, it's kind of strange because seeing band members seeing the bands that I love and being able to talk to them and being able to be with them, and it's so foreign for me. I'm always starstruck because for me it was always so distant.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it kind of like a music star, a kind of movie star. I mean,
Right. Right.
my movie stars are musicians. I love movies, but my main passion is music. So
Music.
yeah,
I love that.
yeah. So that's how I loved. That's how I became really liking graphic design. Not always. It's something that's eternal. Okay. Clothing will disintegrate, but music will live forever. At least on the internet, will live
Exactly.
forever. And it's crazy. Like at least in albums, the bands, tons of bands that I really like have my art. It's crazy. It's still a dream for me. It's still a dream.
Yeah. Like for me, I'm a photographer, so anytime I see a
Mhm.
band in concert, like even for
Yeah.
myself, when I got to shoot Bad Omens for myself as a
Yes.
photographer, I was starstruck
Mhm.
because it's
Yep.
a cool experience getting to see
Yep.
these bands that you followed for so many years and getting to see them.
Mhm.
Even for yourself, if they're wearing your merch, you're probably
Oh yes.
starstruck, dude.
Yes. Uh, then the first time I saw my merchandising in real life
Mhm.
was, let's see. It was in 2019 in, like, I think it was April, because in April Casey was doing their final tour, and as I
Right.
said, I designed the merchandising for that tour,
Mhm.
and on their final date for their European tour, it was that date. Then they traveled to America, and after that show in America, they were over.
Yeah.
So I noticed that the last show, it was in London, and it was on a Saturday, and I was working. I was still working at the company, and I said, "Wait, I'm gonna fly to the UK and see that show."
Yeah.
So I did. I saw the show, and it was crazy. It was crazy. Like so many. I remember being in the show and then looking back and seeing like 4 people with my T-shirts. I was like,
That's great.
it brought tears to my eyes because I loved music so much. It's like it's crazy. It's crazy. A band to put your trust in you, and
Mhm.
and the artists you always loved so much. For
Yeah.
me, yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy to think that you got something that you absolutely love and cherish and someone
Yeah,
wearing that right in
yeah.
front of you. Like, did you go up to those people and like, yo, I designed that?
A few, a few. Like I remember a sweet couple was discussing the items to get,
Yeah.
and for example, let me say it. There were 6 items. I designed 4, so not all of them, but
Yeah.
I designed 4. And he was choosing, and I told him, and I'm all I don't try to be creepy, but I said, hey, choose that one. That's really cool. Choose that one. And they laughed at me because I said, hey, choose that one. I designed it, and they laughed and they said okay, because I don't think they didn't believe it.
Oh,
So at the end, I talked to the band. I took photos, and they as a gift they gave me my items. They
that's
gave me
great.
everything I designed. They gave me. So I walked off with like a pile this big of clothes. Like I walked out, and they were outside. That couple was outside, just talking. And I said, wait. And they looked at me like, wait, you really did design it? And I told you, I told you.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
I love that. Like, what are some clients that you want to work in the future? You think?
Okay. In terms of metal, thankfully I've designed for kind of all of
All of them?
metal artists right now.
Wow.
Yeah, but no, but I want to do for counterparts, for
Okay.
era
Yeah.
architects, August Red maybe, and then Parkway Drive for metal, because those are the big guns
Yeah.
that I haven't worked yet. I've been a fan of for years. My favorite, the first band that I love that screamed was August Red. Was August Red.
Yeah.
So yeah, I used and it was my favorite drummer at the time. So outside of metal, I'd love to work with, as I said, I love Ariana Grande, so I'd love to work for, her. I'd love to work for the 975. There's a small pop band that I really love. They're super small, called the Millennial Club.
Okay.
Yeah, they are really cool, really sweet guys, and I love to, if they're hearing this, hire me, please.
I love that.
Yeah. I don't listen to much outside of metal and outside of this kind of pop, but right now I think that's mostly it. That's mostly it.
That's fine. Like, what would you be doing if you didn't do graphic design?
Good question. When I graduated college, what I wanted to do was film. For example, shorts,
Okay.
movies, publicity. When I got hired for that company, I did a few videos, not a ton, but most of it was designing, and that's how I learned to do Photoshop more and more and more.
Cool. Like, have you done like a lot of like video projects for some bands at all, or no?
No, never,
No?
never. No, never.
What?
I'll
Why
be
not?
honest. I'm not really good. I'm
But
not good
that's
at all.
Rui.
Yeah,
That's why you practice, though.
yeah,
That's the same thing with
that's
drumming.
true. That's true. But that's a good question, and I should. But thankfully, I'm neck deep in work. Not for neck deep. I wish.
Yeah, not neck
Not for
deep. Yeah.
not neck deep. But I have tons of merchandising to do. I have a few albums that.
Right. You do album covers
Yeah,
too. How
yes,
does
yes.
that? How are you doing that? Like, what is like your go-to? Like, what is your favorites that you've done for album covers for some bands?
Okay. Most up until this point, I've only full albums, like physical albums.
Yeah.
I've only done um, maybe five.
Okay.
Five. I've done two for outlining color. It was an EP. It was two
Oh
EPs
yeah.
that they come together. Like it's like a mirror. If you put them together, they become one. So in a way, it was only, let's say I see one. I've al- I've all, I've also done one for a metal UK band called Vexed.
Oh,
The
facts.
album is already announced. It will come out in March, I think. I've also done I've done a band that I can't announce yet. And I've also done a band that I think I can announce. The new Darko.
Darko.
Darko
Oh
is,
yeah, Darko.
yeah. I've done all their new singles, all their four singles, and I've done the album that will come, and that I can't announce, but it
Yeah.
will come sooner
It'll
than
come.
later.
That's fine.
It will come. It'll
That's
come.
cool though. That you're
Yeah.
starting to get into the album
Yeah.
covers and everything.
Yep.
Or is there any?
I've done tons of singles. But
Yeah.
full body albums, not a lot. Not a lot.
Okay. Is there some bands that you really want to like reach out to and try to get some album singles?
I'd love to work for in terms of albums, some my favorite ones are the most simpler ones.
Okay.
So my favorite ones are, for example, the 1975. Their album artwork, they have their own graphic designer, so
Mhm.
I so I'm sure they wouldn't ask another designer, but I'd love to take my stab at it. Um, I love to do for counterparts. Their new style is kind of different, but then again,
It's
they've always
counterparts.
been super clean.
Yeah.
It's counterpart, and I love counterparts. I absolutely love counterparts. Um, Let me see. The cleaner the better, as I say.
Okay.
I'm not sure, I'm not sure who bands I'd like to, but I love doing
Yeah.
albums, and then having them physically is the best.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. I've not seen your work for album covers that much, but I will for sure
Mm,
check them out and everything.
no,
But
no worries.
for
No worries.
sure. What do you think about like the music industry as a whole right now? Like with labels, streaming, and everything right now. Like, what do you think about like
It's
hearing
great.
that kind of stuff?
That's a good question.
Mm,
I think it's streaming made things so much different now. The in my work, I think now my work is more important than it was 5 years ago, because maybe not even five, like 7 years ago, because since streaming, most people don't buy albums anymore.
true.
Most people, almost no one buys albums. So in my opinion, bands. Um, I'm not a band, so I don't know, but I think most bands, uh, where they get the most money is from merchandising, and that's where me and all merch designers need or have stepped up and really make the best, just the best, because bands nowadays they can't tour, and streaming, people don't buy many albums, so clothing is what puts food on the table, as to say. So yeah, I think that's a big point, like better merchandising. That's I
Okay.
think that's one of the big things.
Hmm. But what about like music labels and everything? Like, do you think like the music labels have been like screwing over artists at all, or do you think that they're helping
Mhm.
some artists with bands and
Mhm.
everything? What do you think on that topic?
I'm that's a question I don't really know how to answer properly, because
Okay.
I've never worked with much labels,
Hmm.
but I've heard that some labels do end up screwing over bands, not just in terms of artistically, like demanding them to write a certain way, or just putting them in tours that sometimes they're not the best, or sometimes tours that won't give them the audience that they need, or maybe even in terms of social media and putting their work out there, sometimes they don't put in the work. But I've uh, for my experience, what I can I've worked with one label big time, that is Sharptone Records.
Oh yeah,
I've
Sharpton.
worked with them. Yep, I've worked with them a lot. I've done tons of merchandising for all their bands and albums, and they have been nothing short of absolutely amazing.
Okay.
And what I've heard from all their bands that they have, they all love them. So
Hmm.
from me, I'm looking kind of from the outside.
Yeah.
It seems that at least Sharptone is a great bet.
Okay.
It's a great label.
That's good. That's
And yeah, speaking more just a bit from Sharptone, I believe Sharptone has the best. How can I say this properly in English? I think they have the best eye for talent. They
okay.
know where the talent. They know who is the best new band. They know who to take under their wing. I think they have the best scent for
Hmm.
metal talent. They really do.
Hmm.
They Sharptone are absolutely unbelievable,
Yeah. Like,
in my
what
opinion.
about like graphic designers that are in like your industry, the music industry? What do you
Mm.
suggest like new graphic designers? What do you suggest that they should do? You think?
Okay. Mhm. I think one big thing, important thing that I always try to do is to truly understand what the band or client. needs, or not needs, what the band represents, and try to make merchandising that truly speaks to the aesthetic and the message of the band. Uh, trying to really dig deep and see what little aspects they can take from the music videos, from their, even from the clothes they wear. That's something I do, and try to really own in on who they are and try to make it and try to like how do I say, and try to put it in the clothing. That's one thing I try to do. But on the other hand, doing merch is not only an artistic avenue. You can
Mm,
always you always have to pay attention to them, to the fans and what they like, because
true.
you can make an item that you absolutely love, but in a way you know that the clients won't buy. And it's always a double-edged sword in a way. That's that's how I try to say things, and that's how I try to design.
I like that. And it's a good aspect. Like, even for
Mhm.
myself as a photographer, you need to find something that the band will like. And if they have a photographer, like I know a lot of bands do and everything,
Mhm.
you try to go almost in the same kind of style as what they have already as well, right?
Mhm.
So you try
Yeah.
to get some influence right there too.
Yes.
Yeah. How about like artists you think with the independent scene? What do you think about like that? Do
Mm,
you like that artists are going independent more, or do you think that they should go more into labels? What do you think?
I like the independent. I really like. I don't like the Pentagon independent.
Hmm.
Again, I'm not sure. I don't really know much
Yeah.
about it, but I think that most bands that go independent do great things. Do great things. One band that I know that gone independent and that then did great things is a band that I never know how to pronounce, but I'ma try. It's Hundreds.
I don't know. I can't. I don't know. I'm
It
sorry.
It's that band that used to be hardcore and now it's shoegaze. It's Hundred with a T and H at the end.
Drev. Okay.
Hundreds. I never know how to pronounce it. I'm butchering their name. I'm sorry, guys.
I don't.
But yeah, they, for example, they used to be signed to, I think it was Equal Vision, and they were an hardcore band, and they decided that doing hardcore was not something they liked, so they changed genres, and now they play kind of shoegaze music, and I think it was tremendously fun for the best. And their new music is unbelievable, their new aesthetic is unbelievable, so it was a great step. That's just an example, but yeah, I think most bands that do go solo, I have to say solo,
Yeah.
uh, maybe they have more freedom. Maybe they have more, and as long as the artist is doing what they truly love, I think that always speaks by itself. If you put your heart to it, I think maybe some fans will not go with it, but if that's something you truly love, and that's something you can go to bed at night and think, I did well, I can sleep peacefully. Yeah, that's how I look at it, because sometimes I can design a item that I truly love, and I shoot the band, and the band say, this is not really what we want, but if I
Hmm.
love it, I'll say, I'm okay, I can make another one, but I'm good, I'm happy, I'm happy. And if the band, and I think if bands do the same, I think it's better for everyone.
Exactly. I love that. Have you toured with any bands before? I guess.
Mm, no, no.
No.
I thought of the idea, but I started doing this I started doing this full time in 2019 in May, and I kept working, and in December the world got shut down almost. So I didn't have much time, and in between May and December, I got some great clients, but
Hmm.
not as many as I have now. So I'm not sure. Maybe one day with Silent Planet, because I've been great, great, great friends with them, and it's something I'd like to do. But in a way, I don't know what I I don't
would
know
do.
what I do. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
what to do because I'm good at designing. Maybe I could sell merch. If it was like a one month European tour, I'd be down for that. Yeah,
Okay.
I take a vacation. I'd say all my clients, you gotta wait 1 month and I'll be back. But I'd like I actually would like that a
Yeah.
lot.
You should reach out to the guys and
Yep,
potentially do that. Yeah. Has the pandemic actually helped you? I guess more than before.
I think so.
Yeah.
I believe so. I don't know if it was because I don't know if it was a snowball effect from all my clients but I remembered when the pandemic struck really hard. I was kind of panicking, because I thought, well, I've worked so hard for this. I quit my job to be a graphic designer, and I'm gonna lose everything. And in a week, and it was 1 week that I didn't got any new clients, so I
Hmm.
started getting a bit anxious. But after that week, I got like 5 emails, and I think the pandemic helped me a lot. In terms professionally, of course, but in terms professionally, it helped. I think I've gotten double the clients, a
Double.
lot, loads of amazing clients, amazing. Yeah, I've he, this experience truly changed my life. Yeah, truly,
That's good. Like, are you like overwhelmed? I guess, right?
yes.
Yeah.
This is something that this is. It's funny because up until the moment that I decided to quit my job to pursue this full time, I never I never thought of even doing designing. But when when this wave started coming up and up and up, I talked to my parents, talked to my girlfriend, and I said, "Hey guys, what do you think? I'm
Yeah.
working at this job that I don't particularly love. I don't make tons of money. What do you think if I have a few clients now? What do you think if I quit and try to pursue this?" And they said to me, "Rui, you always dreamt of this. Go ahead." And yeah, and thankfully it paid off. Thankfully.
That's good. Yeah, I was wondering about like how does your family and everything like you doing graphic design and everything?
My parents or my friends are super proud. So they always say, "Hey, it's amazing." Like, uh, I remember you sent so many because when I left college, yeah, I spent some time jumping from one job to the other because things weren't really working out. And they said, I remember you worked anywhere you could. You tried so hard, and now your hard work paid off. I always joke with my parents, say, remember that demon music I used to listen to, and you used to make fun. They never make fun of me, but they
Yeah.
said, "Oh, there's so much noise." But they say always jokingly, "Remember that, mom? Remember? Look at me now. Look at me." I always joke with them about that.
Yeah. Like I have what is it, friends and family that are like, "Hey, what do you listen to? This is demon music." And I'm like, "No, this is actually good music." I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know, but I guess your music influences has it really like shaped you as a designer, you think?
I think tremendously. Um, for example, mm, even though I always loved metal, I never truly liked the metal merchandising.
Okay.
Uh, because at like 5 6 years ago the merchandising was sometimes like big scary images at the front, or like kind of gory, or maybe those cartoons that drop
Yeah.
dead head, for example. I truly never liked it. Ever since I always preferred kind of cleaner merchandising, simpler. And when, for example, Counterparts dropped the album before this one called "You're Not You Anymore,"
Hmm.
they started doing much cleaner merchandising, and I thought, wait a minute, this is it? A band that's heavy, but wears stuff I can use anywhere I want,
Right?
and that's what shaped me. And Era 2, Silent Planet, before I started doing merch for them, they also have really clean kind of streetwear merch, and I think that truly that really a lot that influenced my style a lot.
Hmm. Yeah, I what is it? Recently wore one specific band. I don't know if you know Capstan, but there was a band.
Yes.
Yeah, their merch. I love their merch and everything, but
Mm-hmm.
with their merch, it's a lot more like clean and it doesn't look like a band merch and everything. And
Mm-hmm.
someone commented on that on like my shirt and everything. I'm like, do
Mm.
you think the merchandise will shift again to something a different like breed? You think again or no?
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Capstan, just a quick note. Capstan has great merch, and who did the merch also does some most, not much. He used to do a lot of merch for Silent Planet.
Okay.
It's Jim. Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah,
Yeah.
he is absolutely amazing. But I think any kind of art is constantly shifting, and it will come to clothing as well. What I see now, that I think will one day or another will fully take over is is vintage style. Nowadays, what I see a lot of bands and even big influencers, big pop artists is wearing vintage clothing. For example, Metallica's, AC/DC's, old truck items,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and I truly think there's a resurgence of vintage, kind of old designing, and I see loads of bands taking those influences. One band I truly think that's taking the kind of vintage, kind of old hardcore vibe is Knocked Loose,
Oh,
for example.
loose. Okay.
I think Knocked Loose has a great eye for aesthetic, and their new overall aesthetic, not just merchandising, but overall,
Mm-hmm.
is really vintage. And I think we can all agree that Knocked Loose are completely trend centers. They are at the forefront of the hardcore scene,
Yeah.
and they will of course influence all other artists that came after them. And yes, I truly think that vintage, even though it's a style I don't particularly like, I
Mm-hmm.
prefer much cleaner, simpler, and that much. But we are all different, so what doesn't matter. Uh, I love the streetwear, the simple style, but I truly think that the new style that will come more and more and more, it's the vintage style.
Yeah.
I think so.
Like even your designs, I love this design because it's
Thank
something
you.
I could like wear on a day-to-day basis,
Yeah.
right? And I could go out and it's fine and people comment on it. It's like, great shirt, Mikey. I'm like, yeah, it's a great shirt. And check out the graphic designer right here.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
it's great. But yeah, it's great. Is there like any like small artists or any like big artists that you've been getting into recently for music?
Let me see. The one artist that as I work, I don't listen to most metal, just because metal is kind of an assault.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's always, and sometimes I need to a bit more peace. Uh, but I love metal. But I think it's natural because when you are working, you don't want constant. Brrr. So
I get you.
yeah. So as I said, one of the bands that I love the most now, it's a small kind of pop rock band called the Millennial Club that I absolutely love. Another band that I love that's also kind of poppy. It has a Backstreet Vibes kind of a vibe. It's called Joan.
Oh, Joan.
Joan. They
Okay.
are they are if you dig the Backstreet Boys kind of vibe, they are really
Mm-hmm.
good. In terms of metal, smaller, not smaller, but dark. Of course, I gotta
Mm-hmm.
put it Darko. Darko. They are not really small, but they are kind of small.
Yeah.
Darko, Static Dress are really good
Okay.
too. Spirit Box, they are not super small, but
Oh, yeah, Spirit
they
Box. I
are
love
they are
Spirit Box.
yeah. I love Spirit Box, and they are growing and growing and growing, and I think they are truly talented. Uh, this band is not really small, and they blew up last year, but I'll say it again: Load,
Oh,
Load are
Loath. Yeah.
the for me, it was the best album of last year, and I truly believe they are the next big thing. Let me see the bands I've worked with. Let me see my list. Thornhill, for example, another
Thornhill.
band is an Australian metal band that I truly think are immensely talented. They are super young. They're like 20 years old, like 20, 21, 23. I'm 28. Like,
Oh,
how do
wow.
these kids kind of play? I'm an old man, and these kids, and this they're not kids, but how these young people, they are so professional and so absolutely talented. Yeah, I think I'm checking my clients to see if I have smaller ones. Yeah, I think that's kind of it.
That's it.
The
Okay.
smaller ones that I think are truly big, that
Okay.
will be truly big.
Oh yeah. Honestly, the ones that you did know, I know pretty much a lot of them, so they will for sure get big. I think.
I hope so. I hope so.
I hope so too. But what about like influencers, like non-metal or non-music? How about like social
hmm
media influencers for merch?
Mm,
You think you're gonna get into that kind of scene as well?
I've That's a good question. I've done for an influencer, a beauty influencer called Daisy, and she does a makeup, she does clothing, and she's a truly sweetheart. And I did a line. I did for a streamer called Cruzadar. She's a female streamer on Twitch. She's really cool, and I did some items for her. And so far, that's it. I haven't done much. In terms of influencer that I follow and such, I don't follow much. What I do follow is that even before I was a music fan, I've been a gaming fan. So I've
Okay.
been a gamer. I've been a gamer all my life. So what I'd really like to do is to do clothing items for esports teams. That's something I'd really like to do. 100 Thieves, Optic, Team Liquid, any of those teams. I love to take my stab at it because they are really streetwear, and that's something that, of course, I love gaming. I've been loving gaming since I was a young boy, so I love to have my stab at it.
That'd be cool, actually. Just seeing
Yep.
your kind of design in a gaming scene. I love
Mm,
gaming as well, and I'm a big
mm,
Cloud9 fan and a 100 Thieves fan.
Cloud9.
Yeah, great,
Mm-hmm,
great organizations. I love them.
mm-hmm.
I was gonna ask you another thing. I just forgot what it was, but
No worries.
yeah.
Uh, I don't watch loads of professional gaming. I watch more like streamers, but I follow a few teams, and Cloud9. Cloud9. I know, of course, I know them, but I don't watch none of them.
No?
Because no, they do League of Legends, they do
Yeah.
Valorant,
They
they
do
do
yeah.
Counter Strike.
They do Counter Strike. Yeah, all those ones for sure.
I don't play any of them.
I will.
I play, yeah, I play mostly Final Fantasy, Destiny, Call of Duty. So
Okay.
that's
Yeah, there's
most
some
of
of
what I
the
play.
Call of Duty. Well, 100 Thieves is getting back into Call of Duty. I
Yep.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got back a few months ago.
Yeah, and I also watch competitive Halo a lot, so that's what
Oh, I love Halo.
I love Halo
Halo
too
so
much.
I love Halo so much. My I have the new Xbox, and my first game on the 360 was Halo 3.
Okay.
Man,
Yeah.
one of my probably my first, like, is at my top 3 games of all time.
Yeah,
Probably.
that's the same thing
Yep.
with for me. My top game is for sure Halo. I first started with Halo 2 back on the original Xbox.
Oh, yep. I had PS2, so I had
Oh, okay.
PS2, Xbox 360, then Xbox One by mistake because I should have gotten a PS4, but oh well. Oh, nobody knew that Xbox One would have no games. How do you say it? No exclusives.
No
No, okay.
exclusives. Yeah, there's
Oh
honestly,
well,
yeah.
mind blowing how Xbox One failed so much. But oh well, nonetheless, yeah, Halo. I absolutely love Halo 3. So yeah, I
Great,
get you.
great games. I love that.
Yep.
How about like marketing for graphic
Mm.
design? How did that go about and everything? How is
Yeah.
that going?
hmm For me, it was how did I went when I started doing designing. I started using more and more Twitter, and I think Twitter, for me at least, and for many other um, artists, is a great way to show off your work. What I did to market myself was I went on Twitter and I looked for bands that I loved and that I knew that and bands I loved and bands I know that responded to fans on Twitter. Why? Because while I was at home and creating my merchandising, I used to make unofficial. Let's say I make an unofficial designs for Omens. Unofficial. I'd create one, I'd put it on Twitter and tag them and say, "Hey, Bad Omens, I love you guys, and I'd love to work with you." And I posted on Twitter. They, if they respond to all tweets from all fans, they will most likely see my tweet,
Yeah.
and they might even not buy it, but just them liking it or retweeting it, that would give me, it was like free marketing.
Yeah.
My design will be shown to ton of. That was actually how I got my first big client. I tagged the big band with a design. That band did not buy my design, but they retweeted it. Casey saw it. They
Mm.
followed me and hired me. That's how I got my first big job, and that's what started all of this.
That's
So I
cool.
truly think that Twitter is one of the best ones. I've heard that LinkedIn is also really good, but I don't know for graphic design.
Yeah.
So don't take my word for it, but I've heard LinkedIn is great.
I've heard also Instagram's good for it too. I don't
Oh,
know.
Instagram. I've heard Instagram. What I do for Instagram is use it as my portfolio.
Yeah.
Instagram is my portfolio. Because if you want to tag bands, I think on Instagram is kind of trickier. And if you really, I think that for Twitter, if you really want to go out there and get to much people faster in a way, Twitter is the best.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed the last couple of years. A lot
Hmm.
more bands are getting more engaged
Oh
into
yeah.
Twitter with their bands and
Mm,
everything.
yes.
And it's very interesting on that. Like it
Hmm.
took a big shift actually on
Uh huh.
why.
Facebook. It was first of all with Facebook. Then Facebook started. I think started dying a little bit. Then Twitter came. Then came along Twitter, and when I think everyone got a really good grasp of Twitter, it took me a long time to really understand Twitter. But I think at least now Twitter is a great platform to show your work, show off your work,
Yeah.
what you can do, your portfolio. I think Twitter is really great.
Yeah, I think Twitter's the probably the best platform I've talked to, even for like
Hmm.
bands and
Hmm.
artists and influencers
Yep.
for sure.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's about it, Rui. Is there anything you want the people to know about you for graphic design? Do you want any more clients or tell the people what you're about, dude?
Of I'm always down to work for any new client or any old client, anyone. So if there's anyone who needs clothing, who needs an album made, and please reach out to me. Uh, yeah, my my Instagram and Twitter are kind of tricky. I should change the names because it's my Portuguese name, and and all my clients are American, and I know it's tricky, but oh well. It's Rui PLRC at Instagram or Twitter. It's all the same. So if you wanna reach me, it's kind of it's like that. I should change the name, but yeah, I do I do any kind of item you want. I can do kind of I can do any style, but I can do albums if you need. I'm here to work.
I get that. But yeah, thank you so much, Rui. That's
Thank you for having
everything.
me.
Yeah, no
It was a
problem,
pleasure.
dude. It was fun.